What's going on, guys? We are back. This is the RPO College Football Podcast, and we are back live with you with another podcast. I'm your host, Jerome Jones. I got my man TJ. How you doing today, TJ?
I'm doing great, Jerome. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy and sad and worried and confused and not sure what's going on. We'll get a little bit into that today.
Yeah, no, we got Big Ten back, so we're back in your territory.
I mean, you see what's going on here. Just let you guys know, this is a little bit of a throw off. I wanted to throw you guys off a little bit. I am worried. I am scared. I don't know what to do. But we're gonna get into that.
He's trying to gloss it over with the bright colors, and it's smile to start the show. It's like
trying to distract you
guys. No, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Jim Harbaugh's gonna piss me off again.
I'm completely distracting you guys, but thank you guys for coming in. Please make sure you come in with your comments and things like that. We will answer them. This is a live, active podcast, so we love having you guys with your comments and things like that. But as you know, right now we don't have my guy Ray. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, so it's just gonna be me and TJ. But hey, man, we got the best still coming, man. It's gonna be a little blow, kind of like what's going on with the Michigan, a little blow. But we're gonna try to see what we can do today. We're gonna see what we can do.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But let's get right into it because we have some crazy games. We got, I think it was 4 upset games that last week that we need to talk about. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the first upset game of the week. Start off right off the bat. I believe it was Thursday. Was it Thursday or Friday? That was a Wednesday game. I'm sorry. That was the same day we had our last podcast. Coastal Carolina, the Coastal Carolina game against Louisiana. So obviously Louisiana was they were, I believe,
21st, I think.
23rd.
21st. I thought it doesn't matter.
They was ranked and now they're not.
They're in the 20s.
They was ranked and now they're not. Coastal Carolina beat them 30-27. TJ, what was your biggest takeaway about this game?
Well, I gotta congratulate Coastal. They're ranked for the first time ever.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good accomplishment. Didn't really get to watch this game. Box score's a little underwhelming. I gotta say, not too many standout performances, but it's pretty crazy when you get ranked for the first time ever. It's got to be quite an exhilarating feeling to get that, and they got it on a field goal, 4 seconds left. So you get to celebrate. Everyone else saw it on the field and jumping around in midfield. I mean, sounds like a pretty good midweek night to me.
Definitely. I mean, listen. Obviously, we didn't really get to really watch this game because we had our podcast, so we were live while this game was going on. I didn't realize there was a Wednesday game myself.
I didn't realize anyone outside of the MAC played Wednesday games. So
yeah, and plus it was a ranked team on a Wednesday night. That was a little weird.
I'm not so sure about that. It's like every time the Pac-12 puts someone on a Friday, it's like, why are we putting our ranked teams out this week?
It was like a setup. It felt like a setup, and they lost. My biggest takeaway of this game, like you said, it was a game that nobody was really watching, but it was very heavily pit on that Coastal Carolina was not supposed to win this game. And the reason why is that a lot of people are saying is that these guys had no offensive linemen over 6'1" or 6'2". These are short, little, small linemen blocking their butts off against a ranked team, and they beat them.
That was incredible. Now they're 4-0. They got a win against Kansas as well, which I guess we could take with a grain of salt because it's Kansas and their Power 5 title and acumen with it. But I mean, they're 4-0.
They are definitely 4-0. It's very I do like the story. The smaller guys, getting a chance to prevail. We all love that story. Like they said, the offensive line was all small guys. I don't think any of them was ranked. at all. Not heavily recruited. Goes to Coastal Carolina just for an opportunity to play and played really well against some good talent on Louisiana. So we do want to accommodate them and shed some light on the fact that they did their thing there. TJ, like you said, there's no stats that really stick out to you. The running back, and I'm bad with names, guys. You already know. Marable.
Probably just Marable. I would.
Marable. He was probably one of the best players on the field. The quarterback McCall was pretty good. He had a decent game.
As a team, both these teams on the ground, especially Louisiana, they were averaging nearly 8 yards a rush between four guys. That was doing pretty good, and like efficiency wise, they didn't really run a whole lot of plays. Javon, I'm gonna mispronounce this name too. It's Hele. Anyway, for Coastal, 8 catches, 108 yards, 13 and a half per catch, and a touchdown. So he was
pretty much their offense.
And I also don't think I can pronounce their mascot. What is it? The is it the Chanticleers?
I think
Chanticleers.
Chandeliers. I don't know.
I don't know. See, it shows you how much I pay attention to Coastal. So
so that was hey, they're a ranked team. We're gonna have to kind of look at them a little bit. Not sure how long they'll be ranked. It might be just as long as the Louisiana was ranked. So let's move on to our next game with this. So we're gonna go to SMU versus Tulane. Another good game. We had overtime game, 3-point win by SMU. TJ, how you felt about this one?
Well, I am a big fan of Shane Buechele. I mean, he's a baller. He's got it. He did another 384, another 384, over 10 yards an attempt, 2 touchdowns. The SMU the last couple of years, they've been a machine on offense. And Ulysses Bentley, the running back, also had a solid night. I mean, it was more volume than efficiency, but he had a good night. He got a touchdown in. 3 different receivers went over 100 yards, and these guys they click on offense. They're fun to watch. And on the other side, quarterback Michael Pratt for Tulane, he had a pretty ugly passing night. It was 12 of 29, not great, but they were much more productive on the ground. Close game, went down to overtime, and SMU able to come away with the win.
Yeah, I think SMU's defense is struggling a little bit more than last year. They had some guys that left. Deontay Scott, one of the guys that we got to interview last year, he was a real big part of the pass rush, and he left. He's on the Green Bay Packers right now. So they are missing some spots on. Okay.
Pulled up the box. I pulled up the box score, and they always autoplay video.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that.
Man, no, it's okay. I thought you had a marching band in your room or something. But so they're a little bit weaker on their defense, unfortunately. But like you said, I'm bad with names again. Buechele,
I believe.
Buechele had a really, really efficient, great game. I think his average was around 75, I think, if I'm my quick math.
Yeah. He's ever since he got to SMU, like he left Texas at the beginning of his career, lost his job to Sam Ehlinger, coincidentally. Gets out of there, goes to SMU, and he's proven himself as one of the best and most reliable quarterbacks in college football since he's been there. And he'd probably be a Heisman contender if they were in a Power 5 or, a little more consistently.
Definitely. It's a shame that they had such a close game to Tulane, being a ranked team, but they managed, they got out of it, and they won the game. And that's at the end of the day, that's most important. It's not always going to be pretty. You can't get some ugly wins in the NCAA football and still get, stay ranked and stuff like that. So let's get to our next game. Our next game is going to be, I'm going to actually skip that game. Kentucky versus Tennessee. What
that was puzzling. That was a puzzling game.
To Tennessee, who was ranked 14 at the time, 34-7 to Kentucky.
It was a little puzzling. So there were other games on while this game was on. So I was watching. Correct. I was watching other games.
Same here.
But I was keeping my eye on. I couldn't believe it. I went back. I watched some highlights. And Garantano at quarterback, he struggled again. So he had a good first half versus Georgia, and ever since that, in the remaining, let me do math, 6 quarters since then, he's been very, very, very shaky. He's throwing a lot of picks. At one point, he threw 2 straight pick sixes. And this game on consecutive drives to give Kentucky 2 touchdowns. And then it was a lot of ground control game to control. Control. And the Vols, they didn't score a point in the second half, and they didn't have a drive. Hold on, I'm trying to read my notes of what I wrote down. I might have to pull up the box score. Beware the autoplay video again. Just to double check my notes, but the offense struggled so much for Tennessee that
a total of 100.
I remember my notes. So in the second half, when
116 yards,
17-7 at the half, and it's a manageable game. It's only 10 points. And their offense didn't have a drive longer than 9 yards until their final drive of the game when it was out of hand.
Insane.
Not good. And we said they were going to out-talent them. Well, it didn't look like it. I mean, Tennessee's obviously been making a lot of splashes. They had that 8-game winning streak, got humbled last week, and we thought they were going to come home and take care of business, and maybe they just overlooked Kentucky a little bit. And Kentucky,
right. All three of us
is a very respectable team. And Terry Wilson, not a great thrower, but he's a really good runner. He controls that offense well, and that's exactly what they did.
All three of us took Tennessee, and we look pretty bad for that.
Kentucky really didn't. They didn't give us much. They lost to Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. They lost to Ole Miss at home when Ole Miss has looked terrible the last 2 weeks. First it was the defense, now it was the offense.
We'll talk about that.
It was pretty crazy. I couldn't believe it. And is Tennessee out of the poll? I would hope so.
I believe so. Let's see. Tennessee, they are currently, it doesn't look like they're on.
Yeah, so unfortunate. They received 11 votes. Hey, only 2 more than the Sun Devils. Let's go, Forks up.
Forks up. Hey,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, so that was incredible. I thought that was insane that happened. I was not expecting that score to see Tennessee get demolished, and it wasn't even close. It
wasn't even close. That was another thing. It's it's just puzzling because they played so well and they got blown out at home. And I think this is it's been a while since Kentucky's won there. I didn't get to write it down, but it's been a while. I don't know when the last time Kentucky won at Tennessee, but 19th or 20th century probably.
For sure. All right, let's talk about the game that I was excited to talk about with Ray. Unfortunately, again, if you're just coming on, Ray's not going to be on today with us, so just me and TJ. But, Ray is a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame was ranked number 5. They was on the struggle bus with Louisville.
This was not a good game.
We all was like, all right, Louisville's washed. I think we all kind of came into the season thinking there will be a decent to okay team. They underperformed the last couple of games, and like I said, Notre Dame was on a struggle bus with these guys. They were lucky they won. They're still ranked, obviously. But TJ, what's your takeaway from this one?
Probably would have rather watched paint dry than go back and rewatch that game. That game was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I kept flipping to it and expecting Notre Dame to run away with it, and they just never did. It was what I took away from this game, not even much of this game, is that really just I feel like there's top 2 teams in the country, and everyone else has some really just crutch of a flaw. and their team. And we saw like the weather sucked in South Bend during that game, and it showed. Obviously, I expected Louisville to struggle with the Notre Dame defense, but Ian Book again really struggled with the Louisville defense, which has played well at times this year. But this should be no excuse for Notre Dame not to put up 35 points, not like just running the ball at least, and they could barely touch the end zone. Ian Book had led a touchdown drive, first drive out of the half, and that was Notre Dame's only touchdown of the game. And they, end up winning by 5 points. And the thing is, watching this game, and I still don't even think they should be ranked lower than 5. I think they should stay right where they are. That's honestly how I think of the top 25 right now. It's like Notre Dame is probably better than everyone they're ranked above, but nowhere close to the teams they're ranked under.
I agree. Let me throw some stats at you. Louisville offense, passing yards, 123.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Like I said, it was wet. I think it was wet. It was definitely like really windy,
which is fine.
So it's gonna.
Normally, when you hear that, you're like, okay, this should be some rushing yards. Rushing yards, 96 total rushing yards.
Yeah, sounds about
total
right.
Offense, 213 total offense for Louisville. That's okay. All right. Well, all right. When you hear stuff like that, you think, all right, Notre Dame should have a good game, more than 12 points. Let me tell you about Notre Dame. Passing offense, 106. All right, all right, 106 yards. They should be running even more. 232 rushing yards. Total yards of 338 yards. That's why you see that 12-7 final score. That I thought that was insane. I was like, do Notre Dame want to win this game? Like it was.
I just felt like they should have capitalized on more opportunities. I mean, this is a game Notre Dame should be winning by 21 points, but they didn't.
And you think Notre Dame is a little bit more used to that kind of weather? Yeah, it was very.
It was just a little puzzling and a little dry. And no turnovers forced. That's obviously not going to help your offense when it's struggling. So I don't know. And like I said, I don't even think I can move them because I think they're still better than everyone else they're above.
Definitely. I did get to see Ray right after the game, a little bit after the game, and he had absolutely no words. So I don't know if he was going to be talking about this game much. He had no words for me. He had no excuse. If I'm quoting him correctly, I believe he said they should not be ranked. So Ray's kind of like me when it comes to his team. When they suck, and he's hard on them, just like I am. All right, let's get into some of these other games while we still have some time to talk about some other stuff. So let's get right into the FSU versus UNC game.
Wow, this one caught me off guard.
Wow, yeah, that cough off.
You think Jordan Travis is the guy? It looks like it.
It's really making me think that maybe Blackman was the issue. I thought it was the team itself. He only had 19 yards passing, but obviously you have to consider that he's a running threat as well. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. He did have an interception, but for Sam Howell didn't have a bad game, and somehow they still lost that game. I
don't know if I could put this game on Sam Howell. I was texting you during this, and I was not a fan of what North Carolina was doing in the first half. Like we were talking all week or last week, like they're just explosive. They're great at big chunk plays. And what did they do? I know they have 2 of the best backs. They probably have the best backfield in the country.
Correct.
Like, let's put that out. They probably do. But the amount of times they were just content with just handoff. It's like, guys, it's like Sam Howell. You have Sam Howell, and obvious. And as the deficit keeps growing, and they're down 24-0, and finally they let Sam Howell throw the ball down the field, and what do you know? Boom! Right before half, they score a touchdown, and in the second half, they're trailing. They have to throw, and Sam Howell sweeps it up to a 3-point game, and they hold FSU scoreless for the second half. But obviously, it wasn't enough.
It's way too late at that point. It's way too late.
I just thought they were being way too conservative in the first half. I was frustrated. So I'm like, I'll dip into my my thoughts here for a little second. I bet the over on this game, right? And there's nothing more frustrating than the teams driving all the way down into the opponent's territory and then failing because they're just being way too conservative with their play calling. Mm-hmm. And it was so many wasted opportunities for North Carolina. I wrote about them on the blog last week. Mm-hmm. It's like, could they challenge Clemson, maybe even make it a game? But no. Sorry, no.
Spoiler alert, we're going to talk a little bit about that later on as well with these teams. But it's looking this season is so everywhere so far, and 2020, man, it's 2020.
It's so weird.
We got two teams that we know are going to be good. We got one that we think is going to be good coming next week, and then after that it's just like who's going to take that fourth spot. Maybe, don't know. Every week it changes.
We'll talk about it. I think it still should be Georgia, but we'll get to that.
Definitely. All right, let's get to our next game. Memphis versus USC. This is the game that I got to see in its entirety. USC.
It's all right.
I always do that. UCF. Memphis beat them 50-49, a 1-point game. It was all offense. These quarterbacks was going off. There was no type of defense in this game. It was very entertaining. I'm normally the type to go for the defense, but this game was really entertaining to me. Seeing this, I'm a big fan of Gabriel. I like Brady White as well. They were duking it out. TJ, what's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, turn your eyes away if you want defense. I mean, both these teams had over 700 yards of offense. I think there were 1,500 combined yards of offense.
798 for UCF and 703 for.
It's just insane. You want to hear a pretty crazy stat? Combined, Gabriel and Brady White threw the ball 99 times for 1,087 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. And these games have always been like this since the two joined the American. Since they've both been in the American since 2013. Yeah. UCF has owned this matchup. I mean, when it was Scott Frost with UCF, he was beating them. It was that crazy game in 2017, right before they went to go beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl. It was the Peach Bowl. And then the last couple of years with Mike Norvell. And, it is still such these crazy high scoring games and Memphis not being able to beat them. But finally, after the Knights win 13 in a row against Memphis, they finally get a win here on a missed field goal from UCF and things that UCF usually would come through against, but they couldn't here.
Yeah. This game had you on the edge of your seat. You're like, who's gonna win this game? Because they're like these quarterbacks were slinging it. I mean, finding people wide open, getting deep passes, and they were so efficient too. 35 for 49 and 34 for 50. So they were right on par with each other. Obviously, Gabriel got one extra touchdown. I'm sorry. Brady White had one extra touchdown. Gabriel had a little bit more yardage, but it was like who's gonna out sling each other, and at the end of the day, it came down to the kickers, not really the quarterback, the kicker that played out this game. But entertaining game. I was like, who?
Yeah, I was trying to keep an eye on this. It was right in that prime. It was right in the prime. I think it was the afternoon slate. Or the the evenings, the late afternoon for you.
It was the second game.
Yeah, the second leg of games. So there were other games on that I was trying to pay attention to, but I kept flipping back to this one. It is pretty crazy. I mean, it's hard to blame a kicker when your defense gives up over 700 yards of offense.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't come down to that. I think that game was insane. I was on the edge of my seat. I like both of these quarterbacks. I was not expecting that kind of performance though. So
it's a tall task to ask for.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our last review that we're going to talk about today, and it's your favorite team, Auburn. Your favorite team.
Yes.
Versus the Gamecocks, South Carolina. Auburn loses 22-30. You was watching this game very intensely. What was you seeing from your boy Bo Nix?
Looked terrible again.
Yeah.
Until that last drive where they absolutely needed it, he was awful.
Yeah.
Like I've been trying to like read up on him a little bit. Like, why is he struggling so much? He loves leaving the pocket before he has to.
Yeah.
And that will force you to obviously get off your platform and throw on the run. And not every guy is meant to throw on the run. I mean, Russell Wilson makes it look so good. I watch him do it every Sunday, but not like Bo Nix is nowhere near that accurate. Yeah. And he was making bad decisions. The offense, it has an identity when they're running it with Tank Bigsby and running it with Bo Nix, because I think that's their best aspect. Seth Williams, he's an incredible jump ball receiver, but it just wasn't working. But like Bo Nix, it's like maybe you got to start thinking about moving on from him. I mean, it's hard to like. He's just a kid. He's 19 or 20, and it's hard to like be hard on these athletes that are student athletes. But like it's Auburn.
You got
I think you got to.
You got to do it sometime. If you're ranked 13 at the time, and you're looking to get a bowl game, you can't have your quarterback playing like that. Throwing 3 picks, that was not good for him. Putting his team in jeopardy to a South Carolina team that was not that great. Threw to J.C. Horn.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a great game. He was locking down Seth Williams all game.
Yeah.
And he was the guy standing out. Bo
Nix forcing it to him as well. And JC, incredible and talented on corner. I believe he's the son of Joe Horn, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he balled out. He really took the game away and got the win. For a South Carolina team that have been struggling, they haven't been playing that well. I didn't have a chance to actually watch the game live, but I was, hearing your concerns for the game and everything like that as well. So I thought that was an incredibly concerning game for Mr. Buck. And you've seen how Oklahoma had to bench Rattler. You have to do it sometimes. You have to pin him on the bench.
Is Malzahn going to put his foot down that hard? I have no idea.
I don't think
so. Because I don't know if they have better option. I don't obviously.
They don't.
I'm not a practice. I don't know how his other quarterbacks look. But Bo Nix, when it comes Saturday, he's just not producing. It just there's so much talent around him, and he's just not coming through.
But if you think about it too, like the senior from Oklahoma, I don't remember his name, that came in for Rattler. He was not playing that well himself. Like he was okay. He was more of a running style.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I flipped the game off, or at least to a different game, because that was about to go to halftime when he was benched.
Yeah, but it woke him up. It was like, I need to start playing well, and he played lights out since then. Sometimes you got to do that with these young guys. They come in and they think they're untouchable, and they playing as freshmen. Ratliff didn't really do that, but Ratliff was coming in as a highly recruited quarterback. He had to get benched and get the realization, like, I'm not invincible. I have to play better. And I think you have to do that with Bo Nix at this point. Just bench him a game maybe and see what you can do without him, and let him really take a step back to his play.
I'm sure he realizes he's playing bad. I mean, it would be hard not to, because especially in a small college SEC town, I'm sure everyone knows how good the quarterback is playing. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what the fix is. I really don't.
I don't either. All right. Well, I said that was going to be the last game, but
I was going to say we have one more we should probably talk about.
We definitely need to talk about this one, and it is the Texas A&M versus Mississippi State.
Not what I was thinking, but okay.
I want to talk about this game.
You get after this one, you got to let me get my piece on Kirby Smart in.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know how I missed that game.
Yeah, we missed that game.
We missed that game. All right, we'll be real brief on this game then.
All right. Well, Mike Leach, man, you finally did it. You benched KJ Costello. I watched the beginning of that game, kickoff, and the report was that Mike Leach during the week said to all of his quarterbacks, hey, this is like an open competition right now. If you want to play on Saturday, like show me you're the best. And definitively, they apparently the takeaway was KJ Costello is far and away the best one. Well, Costello threw another 1 or 2 interceptions, and he got benched for what's his name? Will Rogers?
Rogers.
Yeah. So Will Rogers comes in. Actually, he throws a touchdown. Believe it or not, it's first time in nearly 2 whole games that they score a touchdown. They also got a touchdown on a pick six. I don't even know if I'm going to mention A&M. They didn't even play amazing. They were very, very underwhelming, but they won by 2 touchdowns. So I guess that speaks to just how bad Mississippi State was playing. But man, they still look like a mess. I can't believe it. I was so sold on Mike Leach. It's like, wow, they've never seen a spread air raid offense like this before. It took them 2 weeks to completely wipe the offense off the face of the planet.
The worst thing about this whole game is they had 217 total yards, -2 rushing yards.
Yeah, I was about to point that out. I was like, okay, I know Mike Leach is an air raid guy. I know he's a very smart offensive coach. And I'm a more pro-passing person than a lot of people. Like I would think you're supposed to utilize your best players and what the most efficient ways of getting the ball downfield. However, as we've watching KJ Costello throwing the ball 65 times a game and getting you in the end zone 0 times is not cutting it. So it's maybe when Kylan Hill comes back, he missed this game. He wasn't healthy. But when he comes back, maybe give him let's slow it down a little bit, give him some touches and see if that balances the offense out a little bit and breaks the defense out of the zone. I mean, Texas A&M ran the same zone that Arkansas ran and the same zone that Kentucky ran last week. They just dropped they rush 3, drop 8, and they cover up all the plugs. So 8, that would be trying to do math here. That would be 5 underneath, 3 over the top, and the windows are just minuscule, and you got to have Marcus Mariota,
and that's literally the time you need. That's literally the time you need to be running, and you got -2 yards.
Yeah.
What?
But the thing is, the reason that Mike Leach at Washington State can never beat UW is because he never adjusted. And the defensive coordinators, especially at Washington, Jimmy, they knew exactly what he was going to do because he runs 5 plays, and they don't run that often. So he knows exactly. There's based on how you line up, what's probably coming. I mean, it's just too predictable. Not working.
It was such a bad performance. I will say Isaiah Spiller looked really well. I liked him. He had a really good game for Texas A&M. I want to see what we said for that game. I believe we all said A&M was going to win. I
believe so too.
So we all got that one correct. But man, hold on. Wait, am I wrong?
Hope no one picked Mississippi State.
Oh, actually, I don't think we picked that game.
No,
we did. Yeah, we took Texas A&M. I'm sorry, I do have it right here. Yeah, we all took Texas A&M. Yeah, so they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do on offense because you can't have -2 rushing yards. That's it. Yeah, especially when you're struggling passing like that, you gotta turn to your running game, and it was not working.
It's just more and more looking like a 1-week mirage against LSU, who played a lot of man coverage, and we've seen LSU has been terrible on defense this year. So.
How explosive they looked against LSU, though, too. It was just wow. And that is they put all their stock into one game. All right, we're pitting it all into this one game, pack it all in, all our talent into this one game. And then, all right, well, let's try to figure out the rest of the game. It is really how it was. But all right, let's get
it's going to be up to them to adjust.
Yeah. Let's get to our last game. The game that somehow I missed this game. Obviously, it's the biggest game of the week. Alabama versus Georgia. TJ, you look like you had a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna let you put your spill out there. What do you
I'm gonna hat tip Mac Jones against probably the best defense in the country. Made it look easy. Only interception was a one where he got hit from behind and the ball slipped out of his hands. Besides that, he was carving all night. I mean, my goodness, he threw for over 400 yards. He had a really pretty touchdown to Jalen Waddle in the second half. Alabama, they look like they're solidly at 2. They look like the second best team in the country. The defense didn't look perfect. However, as Kirby loves to do against Alabama, what happened when the second half came around?
We talked about this.
Nothing. They scored 0 points in the second half. They had a lead going into halftime and proceeded to sit down and not do anything. And Stetson Bennett regressed a lot in that second half. I think he threw 3 interceptions. Yeah, he did. Yep. Didn't even complete half his throws. And game they could have used Justin Fields in. Huh.
Zaire White only had 57 rushing yards. One of the things that we was talking about coming into this game, also Najee Harris went off as well.
He's so good. He is very – and he's so complete, too, as a running back. First of all, he's almost impossible to tackle one-on-one. He's like George Kittle, right, except as a running back. Second, he's a fantastic pass catcher.
Correct.
And he catches those screens. He's running downhill like DBs aren't tackling him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. He's a beast. He's extremely hard to tackle. One of the things that I was looking forward to in this game was to seeing how this Georgia's defense will go against these wide receivers. It was absolutely no match. These receivers was flying right past them, barely being touched. We got a 167 yard receiver out of Smith, 161 receiver out of Waddle, and then you had Mitchie at 50.
They just have 3 guys who will take the top off of you. 3 of them. I mean, Waddle's the fastest, but Mike, all 3 of them, like they're so talented. We talked about the receiving core last year, right?
Yeah.
And this year it's looking to be just as good. Maybe not as many first round picks. You're going to have 2 instead of 3. Yeah. But man, it's
very little drop off. I don't think you got it. And I was the one to come into the season not sure how Jones was going to play, and he's playing really well this year.
He's probably second in the Heisman, right? He is. Sorry, not probably. He is second in the Heisman right now to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
you could argue you put him over him because Alabama's going to play a tougher schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was not sure how he was going to play this year. He was the only factor that I was like, I'm not sure how Alabama's offense is going to run with.
Yeah, I thought he could have been
playing like from beginning to the end. He's playing outstanding.
Yeah, I thought he could have been a candidate to get benched for Bryce Young because we've seen Saban do it before. He did it with Tua. He did it with Hurts. But he's played exceptional. He could honestly play himself into the first round the way he's throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I was looking on Twitter today. It's like people were saying, I mean, it could be Joe Burrow. I mean, he's not going to – I don't think he's going to quite get to that level, but like a Joe Burrow type leap. He has the tool. He has all the tools he could need around him. I mean, we've seen him. This is going to be the biggest test he's going to face all year, and he made it look at like no problem.
Exactly. Yeah. So we already know how right now 2 teams, Clemson, Bama.
I'll put Ohio State in there. I'm going to put Ohio State in there. Obviously, they haven't played yet, but I think it's the 3 at the top right now. Georgia, despite losing, I think they're still the 4th best team in the country. And then everyone else can, I just don't think it's close.
Exactly. It was really, really, really interesting to see. So let's get into our questions of the day. We got a few. We got the Big Ten coming in now. So we're going to talk about them first, and then we're going to get into my team. So Big Ten, can they afford to lose a game only having 10 games on their schedule? 8 games on their schedule. So
nope. So Ohio State, Penn State is next week. It's right off the bat, right? And let's say Ohio State loses that game to Penn State.
It's over.
They're out. And I don't know if I would trust Penn State to run the rest of the table because I just don't think they're explosive enough offensively. And they'd probably slip up in a game. And I don't know if I'd be able to trust Wisconsin if they ran the table to even beat Penn State or Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. So I would say no. It's the same thing with the Pac-12, like with Oregon. There's zero wiggle room here. You gotta win 8 games in 8 weeks.
And that's my biggest fear right now with the Big Ten and Pac-12 because you got 8 weeks. You're probably going to be rusty coming out the gate. Thank God Ohio State and Penn State is not the first game. Because there could be possibly a upset right there. But it is coming early in the game. We don't know how organized these teams are going to be. In the beginning of this season, it was a lot of sloppy games, and this is them playing on time. Obviously, they had shorter training camps, and each team is. Obviously, the Big Ten and Pac-12 haven't had a little bit more extensive training camp, but you don't really play that well until you actually on the field. So, they're from them playing so late in the game and trying to catch up to everybody. I'm very concerned with sloppiness. I'm hoping it's not. I hope I'm very excited to see Big Ten back in there. I'm a Michigan fan, so I pay attention to a Big Ten probably more than any other conference. I am concerned about rust, and it did show with these other teams.
Who does Ohio State play this week?
Good question.
I forgot. I know Penn State plays Indiana.
Yeah. Ohio State was actually one of the games we weren't going to talk about tonight because I don't think it was a good competition. But they are – where are they? Are they off this week?
No, they're playing.
Yeah.
They are playing – come on, load. Nebraska. All right, that's going to be close. That's a nice warm-up.
Yeah. So that'd be a little warm-up for them. But, again, if Ohio State – I do fully expect them to win. They're favored by 26, which they're probably gonna get that. But if you start seeing them like being a little sloppy in the game, and the game is just sloppy, I don't think Ohio State will be sloppy. I think that coaching staff is way too good, and they have been rearing to play for. When the Big Ten hadn't announced they were coming back yet, they were rearing to play. Yeah, they were in camp during that. It's not like they stopped; they still had practice and such every single day. So I think they're going to be hungry. I think they're gonna go out and they're gonna smack Nebraska. We'll definitely see, though. Again, it's different between practice and actually being on the field, hitting each other, and things like that as well. So. We'll definitely see how it is. We'll see. But if anybody can do it, it's definitely Ohio State. As I wear my blue right now. Speaking of the blue, Michigan State loses Nico Collins.
Michigan.
What I
said State.
Michigan State. Did I say Michigan State?
You did say Michigan State.
Ooh, ew.
I'm gonna have to question your credibility as a Michigan fan now.
Ooh, I am.
That's rough.
What was that?
The gear you're wearing is a mirage.
It's a mirage. You never know. It's actually green. No. I don't know where that comes from. I apologize, my Michigan fans. I apologize, my guys, all my 2 Michigan fans that I know are inside the hatches. But we lost Nico Collins. It's a weird situation because. He didn't really report to the team. I think he opted out, but we don't really know what's going on. Jim Harbaugh just came out, I believe it was Tuesday, announced that he is not currently on the team. So how concerning is that? And how concerning are you for Michigan's offense when there's all these other questions right now?
Oh, well, I have no idea. I don't. Losing your best receiver is never a good thing. However, they're starting right as the weather is getting bitter cold up there in the Midwest. So the passing game wouldn't be quite as much of a feature unless you're Ohio State, once you can afford to do whatever you want because you're the best team. But I'm always skeptical of Michigan's offense. Jim Harbaugh's like, yeah, this year we'll open it up, we'll spread it out, we're going to score a bunch of points. And I was like, nope, your offense still looks like it's running the wishbone. So I don't know. I have no idea how it's going to look. I don't really trust Jim Harbaugh to run a modern offense.
Like you guys seen in the beginning of this podcast, if you ever seen, I'm so confused. I don't know if I should be happy right now because they're like I'm happy in a way because I get to watch Michigan football, but then I'm confused because I don't know how the offense is going to play. We got Milton that's playing quarterback now instead of McCaffrey. We got an offensive line that's completely new. All the offensive line went to the NFL. We have a wide receiver that transferred, a wide receiver that didn't show up. We got now our starting wide receiver is Ronnie Bell, who was not efficient catching at all last year. He has the talent, but he just needs to catch the ball. And I don't trust his hands. The only thing I can really count on is our running backs. I really do like Cabernet, and like you said, hopefully we do run the ball a lot more. Maybe you might see some 12 personnel with our two really good tight ends. Well, I believe are really good tight ends. But other than that, I don't know how this offense is going to be. I gotta see the first game. I'm confused.
Well, lucky you. They're in prime time. The whole country gets to watch.
Yes, they're prime time, and they're playing Minnesota, who they're favorite right now. They're favorite right now. And we're gonna get into
Michigan's still favored. Michigan is 3 points.
No, yeah, I'm saying Michigan's favorite. Yeah. We're still favored, but we're gonna get into that. But
might be arguably the best quarterback wide receiver duo you'll see all season until Ohio State.
Yeah, and a lot of people I haven't heard one person say anything good about Michigan this game. I'm hearing Minnesota should win this game, which is weird.
I might have to pick Minnesota.
With that being said, let's get into those games. And the first game we're going to get into, because we don't have much time, so we're going to kind of blaze right through this. Oklahoma versus TCU. Oklahoma is favored by 6.5. Who you got?
TCU played pretty crappy last week, so I'm gonna take TCU to bounce back at home, and they're getting 6.5 points against a Max Duggan. Like, he struggled a lot last week, but you know what fixes a struggling quarterback? Playing Oklahoma. Cheers.
I want to commend you for that pick, because I thought I was going to be the only one to pick that game. Mm-hmm. I got TCU as well. I for some reason I'm watching a lot more TCU than I've ever seen ever in my life. You already know why, but TCU, I've been watching them. They had a bad game last week, but they've been playing really well. They could be 2-1 right now. I'm sorry, 3-1, I believe. But they lost that game, and the other game it was close with Kansas. So I'm picking TCU as well. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce back game from Spencer Rattler. He had all that time to read about how bad he played against Texas, but yeah, we'll see.
Definitely, that's going to be a really interesting one to see. We both pick an upset in that game, so we'll definitely see how that goes. All right, let's get to Florida State versus Louisville. Two teams that I don't know who to vote. I don't know what team we're looking at. We got Florida State is favored. I'm sorry, Louisville is favored by 4.5 points. TJ, who you got?
I'm going upset again. I got to go Florida State. I'm hopping on the hype wagon.
Yeah.
So they kept the score at least somewhat respectable against Notre Dame, and then they come out and they beat the number 5 team in the country at home in prime time. And this game they're on the road, I believe, right?
Correct. Yep.
But I think they found something with Jordan Travis at quarterback. They've seemed like a competent team, and they're getting 4.5 points. So how could I complain?
Louisville is actually favored.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm actually going to go Louisville. Florida State, very convincing win last week. I'm not convinced myself with the team in general. I just
Louisville hasn't looked convincing all season.
You're right, but they have a better defense. I think they have a better defense.
Yeah, their defense played pretty well, but I don't know. I don't know how big the gap is there.
This is definitely a 4.5 type of game with Louisville being
close.
So it's definitely going to be a close one. I'm going to take actually Louisville in that game. Let's get to our next one. Let's go Pitt, Miami. TJ, who you got?
Miami. Or no, it's not Pitt, Miami. Pitt, Miami was last week. It's Virginia, Miami. Spread's 11. I'll take Miami. Virginia hasn't played well.
Sorry. Yeah. So Virginia, Miami. I'm going with Miami as well. Miami's a better team. Yes, they lost last week. They
won last week. They beat Pitt.
Oh, I'm
a week late. It's all right.
I'm a week late. I'm looking ahead.
I caught your error. I was ready for it.
I'm
ready to bail you out.
I'm ready. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm ready for the Big Ten. That's what it is. All right, let's act like that didn't happen.
Yeah, Derrick Henry was really good last week. Had 4 touchdowns, and I think he's going to roll again against a worse defense.
Correct. Yes, definitely. So we'll definitely see that game for sure. Let's get to Auburn versus Ole Miss. TJ, who you got on that one? Auburn is favored by three points.
I think I'm gonna have Ole Miss defense is too terrible that I'm gonna pick Auburn. They're only need 3. I only have to give up 3 points while taking them 2. So it's a good betting play. Yeah. And Ole Miss, last 2 weeks, you can just pick 2 weeks ago against Alabama, their defense was just horrendous. Last week, Matt Corral, who I've been a big fan of, threw 6 picks against Arkansas. Arkansas has played a lot better, but 6 interceptions is pretty bad. And Auburn has superior talent across the board. I lean on Tank Bigsby, the freshman running back for Auburn. He has been excellent. So he'll be the key to winning this game.
In a way, I kind of want to say push. This
tie? Game, are we going to get a tie?
You know what? It's because Bo, I can't trust Bo. I just can't.
So you take the ball out of his hands and you give it to Bigsby, and he'll carve through that defense.
Yeah. I'm gonna give the slightest edge to Auburn, with a cringe face. I'm
not happy taking Bo Nix either, but
cringy face. I'm gonna give it to him.
See. I wouldn't be shocked if he lets me down again, though.
Exactly. All right, let's get to another. This is probably gonna be a pretty good game this week. We got Oklahoma State versus Iowa State. Ranked number 10 versus 24. Oklahoma State is favored by 3.5. TJ, who you got?
I'll take Oklahoma State. The line at 3.5 is pretty good, even though I believe they're on the road. They're the front runners of the conference. I mean, the whole conference, if they lose, then the Big 12 just gets swept aside. So they're going to come out, and I think they're going to win.
I'm going to go to the same sense as you. Iowa, they're a little bit too up and down with me. Oklahoma been rolling. I think they keep it going. So I'm going to take them as well. So we're on the same page with that one. All right, let's get to Iowa versus Purdue. Purdue is favored by 3. They are home. This is the first game for both of these teams. So it's
Purdue's favored by 3?
I'm sorry. Iowa. Oh, wow. I'm blind.
Get it backwards?
Iowa is favored by 3.
Just double checking.
I had it backwards. Yeah. So who you got for that one?
Cool. I think Jeff Brom is out with COVID, I believe. I believe he will not be coaching. At least that's what I read earlier today. So I'll probably back Iowa. Better program. Purdue has Rondale Moore. Big fan of him. But I think Iowa will just hold on to the ball the whole game, and Purdue's defense get eaten alive a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Iowa as well. I feel like they're the more physical team, and they're gonna be a little bit more physical with them. So I'm gonna go with Iowa as well. All right, let's get to our next game real quick. We're gonna skip that one and go to Baylor versus Texas. So Texas is favored by 9. Texas is ranked number 22. They just lost. So who you got on that game?
Texas is ranked still?
Yeah, 22. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure this says 22.
Okay. I think Texas is going to win this game, and all the AP poll lovers are going to give them a bunch of love again, and they're going to shoot them back into the the top 25, even though they really don't deserve it. I mean, so the key is that the fact that Texas isn't ranked anymore. Let me double check too, unless you found it.
Yeah, as for what I'm saying right now, they're ranked 25.
Oh, Texas got 1 vote in the AP poll this week.
Jeez.
They're not ranked.
You're not? Okay.
So I don't have much faith in Texas. I think Texas is going to win. Maybe not by 11.5. I don't think I would bet on this game, but yeah, they're unranked, so they'll look good again. With
that, maybe next week they'll be 22.
And then they'll pick against them again because they'll probably lose.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texas as well. I think that I just think that they got the better quarterback. Charlie Brewer, he's okay, but
no, he's not great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Texas. All right, let's get to LSU versus South Carolina. I don't think I've ever thought I would say this, but I'm not sure about this game.
I don't know. I don't even know. Can LSU stop anyone? It's
embarrassing.
I don't know.
They are favored by 6.
I would probably take LSU home, and they've gotten a week off, so they'll adjust. I know they had the COVID cancellation, so I'd probably take LSU at home. I don't know if they're going to win by 7 though. I have no idea. I know South Carolina can score points, and I know for a fact that LSU can't stop anyone.
Yeah. I'm gonna go LSU by default. They are LSU. I don't know. This game is so weird. Like, it's weird to say we don't know about LSU, but we don't know about LSU. It's crazy. But we're both gonna go LSU. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of close games this week, which is crazy. All right, let's get to our next game. West Virginia versus Texas Tech. West Virginia is favored by 3.5. Texas Tech is at home. Who you got, TJ?
I'll probably take West Virginia. No insider scoop. I honestly have no idea about this game, but I'll take West Virginia.
For the first time all season, I'm gonna go against Texas Tech.
Ooh. Hey, Letty Brown is really good. He was looking excellent last week.
Yeah, for sure. Texas Tech been a little disappointing to me. I thought they were gonna be a little bit better than they have been. So I'm just gonna go with Virginia Tech. I'm sorry, West Virginia. I got to see a little bit of West Virginia game. They look a little bit more in sync than Texas Tech at the moment, so I'm gonna go with West Virginia as well. All right, let's get to my game. Michigan versus Minnesota.
I'll let you go first. You go first.
I am going to obviously pick Michigan. You see how I'm scratching my neck, right? That's the nervous.
That's a nervous tick right there.
It's a nervous click. I'm not sure how this game is gonna go. Again, the offense is. I'm very concerned with the offense. I don't know what offense I'm looking at. I don't recognize a lot of these players. Like, obviously I know because I'm a Michigan fan, but everybody that's playing have very little playing experience, and the ones that do have playing experience, Ronnie Bell, it's not have. I mean, he's the type of player that he's like Aguilar to me, where like you have all the talent, you can play very well. You see how Aguilar is playing right now with Oakland, but like the drops are an issue with him, and that's the biggest concern I have with Ronnie Bell being your number one receiver. I really, again, like I said, I really hope they lean on their tight ends. That's going to be the tight ends in the running game. That's going to be the only way. I think that's the only way they're going to be able to win this game. Well, I'm blanking on his name already. Milton. Milton is definitely a better running threat. So I think having some RPOs and things like that will definitely help him out. And we'll definitely say, I hope that's the game plan, because if that's not the game plan, TJ, you can go. But I am picking Michigan, obviously.
I'm not sure. I'm really not. I'll probably I'll pick Michigan, but here's why. So I was just thinking, the last big game Minnesota played at home last year, they were hosting Wisconsin, primetime, ABC. Winner was going to be the front runner to go to the Big Ten title game. Minnesota just didn't show up. They lost by 35 points, I think. And Michigan is way more not way more talented, but they're probably much more talented than Minnesota is. And I know Bateman and Tanner Morgan are probably arguably the best tandem, if not the best wide receiver quarterback combination in the Big Ten, which is going to be tough to stop.
Yeah.
But this game will probably be one in the trenches, as most cold Big Ten, cold October, November, December Big Ten games usually are. So I'll put my eggs into big game Jim Harbaugh's basket for this once. It's only 3 points that I have to swallow on this one. So I think I'll take Michigan. It's gonna be low scoring though.
Yes, I am actually doing a quick search because Ambry, I'm trying to see if he is going to be playing for us because I know he opted out. I don't remember seeing any reports that he came back. Did you see anything about that?
Nope.
All right. While I'm looking for this, let's talk about the SMU versus Cincinnati game. It's probably going to be the game of the week. It looked like a really close match, both undefeated teams. SMU is favored by 2.5, but they are home, so this is a little bit more of a push. TJ, who are you taking in this game?
Man, that's tough. Cincinnati's in the top 10 right now, which, I mean, they're definitely the team we don't talk about at all. For them to be in the top 10, it's pretty crazy. I'm gonna have to go Cincinnati though. Cincinnati's my pick.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go SMU. I like their quarterback, and I keep forgetting his freaking name. Yeah. Also, by the way, it looks like Ambry have not come back. I think he is still, from what I'm seeing right here. It looked like he's not coming back, so that's a hit on our defense for sure. But yeah, I like the SMU's quarterback a little bit more. I think they can go and be 6-0. 6-0. Wow. So yeah, SMU. I'm picking SMU. So we're going this one of the few times that we're going to be opposite. So we'll see how that goes. All right, last game, real quick. Indiana versus Penn State. Penn State is favored by where's my line? Penn State
6.5.
6.5. Are you taking Penn State?
Absolutely. It's Indiana. Come on. Journey Brown opted out for Penn State, which is a big hit to their offense. He's incredible. But their whole backfield last year was averaging over 5.5 yards a carry. And the two guys behind him, very solid. I'm sure they maybe not all the slack, but they'll pick up most of it. And the offense will look good enough. I think they'll cover and they'll beat Indiana.
Yeah, their running back.
Journey Brown.
No, not Journey Brown. No, I'm blanking on his name, but we got a chance to see him at ING Academy. He's very, very good. Noah Kane. He's a baller. Got to see him at ING Academy. He was one of the top ranked running backs in the country a few years back. We actually got to go to that to their media day to talk to him, and he's a baller. We've been watching him very closely. So don't sleep on him being in that offense. He's going to be really well. I think Nittany Lions is going to cover that spread easily.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't even know. I think that line should be higher. I really do.
I do too.
I think at least 14, between 12 and 14. I'll say.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. There's a reason they build those big shiny casinos.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So that's going to do it for us today, guys. So thank you guys for checking us out today. Please make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on Inside the Hatches. Also follow us on our website, InsideTheHatches.com, where you can find all our content. A lot of these players that we interview will be right on there. So you see it right there, InsideTheHatches.com. Also, make sure that you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We can find all our content. All our podcasts are on there. All our player interviews, things like that. Just go in there, listen to it. It does support the company. and all you have to do is listen. So please make sure you do that. Also, make sure you check us out on Discord, where you can come check us out, where we're talking about a lot of these games. We talk about how the games are going during the games, and chat it up with us and the crew in there. That's the link right down there. So you click on that link, go on Discord. Also, and you can just find us on there as well. So, guys, I hope you have a good weekend. We got Big Ten football. It's going to be a lot more games, a lot more tighter games. Some defense, yes, defense. How I love my defense. So we're going to have some good defense. Hopefully, there's going to be some good games. Hopefully, Michigan wins. Or you might not see me next week. But thank you guys for listening. I'm Jerome Jones. This is TJ Mathewson. Thank you guys so much. And we check you out next week. Make sure you follow us again next Wednesday at 7:00. Peace.